Welcome to Marketing Show, the 20 to 30 minutes of marketing magic that will help you connect the dots with all the digital, social, and old school marketing and sales options available today. Our aim is to give you practical, effective tips and ideas so your business or professional practice can get more prospects and nurture those prospects to becoming long-term customers. The show is sponsored by the Marketing Strategy Company, who help B2B organizations develop winning marketing strategies and sales and marketing automation systems to turn their sales and marketing efforts into new customers and dollars through their marketing. Check out the Marketing Strategy Company's planning and marketing services at themarketingstrategy.co. That's themarketingstrategy.co.
Hi, and welcome to today's episode of the Marketing Strategy Show. The Marketing Strategy Show is all about getting the right marketing for your business. In our marketing strategy episodes, we pull back the curtain with experts on a specialised topic, but today is a little bit different. In a lot of our episodes to date, we focused on one or more topics or one or more stages of the marketing and sales process, which of course is getting more leads, converting them into customers, or building long-term relationships. Today, I've got a special guest, a guy named Edward Zare, who's a marketing mentor and coach. And Edward and I are going to have a bit of a discussion backwards and forwards about how marketing has changed and the things you need to think about with marketing. So not just a particular marketing topic, marketing in general and what's happening today. So Edward, are you there?
I am so here, Kym, and it's an honour to be with you on this wonderful podcast.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And it's wonderful to have you on board. I've watched what you do, and you have a very big presence in the marketing world, and everyone I know speaks very highly of you, and you're a very sought-after speaker and MC, certainly.
Well, thank you, Kym. It's an absolute honour, and I have to say, for the sake of our glorious audience as well, I've known you for years, and you are a great guy who's very smart.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. So enough of the platitudes for each other. Let's jump into it. We might actually start, though, with a bit of the Edward Zare story for our audience and those who don't know you.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So pretty much I'm a marketing mentoring coach. I speak at a lot of events. I get involved quite actively in the community. And I originally come from an actual government and military background from a very long time ago, believe it or not. Actually, when I was 19, I joined the Army as a combat engineer, and then I wound up in drug enforcement helping out the federal government. So that's my marketing career.
Right.
But long story short, left that, ended up going into corporate, having a very successful marketing career. And when I turned 30, around about then, is when I started my business as a marketing mentor and coach. Awesome, Kym.
So does that mean, Edward, you got the 30-year itch? Is that what it was, to make you go and start your own business?
I like it. I've never heard anyone put it like that, but that was actually it. So very well put. I've never heard it that way, but I'm going to steal.
An early midlife crisis, perhaps.
Oh, yeah. Because I'm actually 40 now, and I don't have a midlife crisis, but I totally had one then. It was awesome.
Well, that's fantastic. And so I guess in what you do, Edward, you come across lots of different businesses, large and small. So what sort of clients you work with? Everything from a small business right through to medium-sized manufacturers, no doubt.
Well, it's actually this is an interesting one. I actually work with entrepreneurs who are busy starting in their own business, right through to actually doing workshops and training for massive corporates. So I actually have the whole spectrum of people that I work with in my marketing and coaching abilities.
Right. So I guess the reason I actually want to let people know that was you're not just focused on one area of marketing. I mean, you may get this with people who meet you at a network event. Whenever I meet someone at a networking event, they say, what sort of marketing do you do? Do you ever get that question?
All the time. And I just say coaching, training, and education.
Yeah, exactly. And for us, it's starting with strategy first. That's why we're the marketing strategy company, right? So we start with that first and get the basics right rather than focus on one tactic. But I guess I want to talk to you first of all about, we had an interesting discussion for the listeners' benefit before this interview started about Edward's approach. And I think we've got the same approach of trying things before we actually mention them to clients. And one of the things we spoke about was networking and running events. And I think in the day's digital world, I think a lot of people forget about the face-to-face contact. So tell me a bit about how you've used networking for your own business, Edward, and I guess for your clients as well, and running small events.
Oh, great question. So with business networking, I'm obviously really into it. And to really start and get into my business networking journey, I actually have to give a shout out to one of my own mentors. He's a great British guy by the name of Stefan Thomas. And he actually taught me business networking and selling from his viewpoint. And that allowed me to go straight to the top at New South Wales Business Chamber. And it was incredible. And in answer to that, basically it's this, is that I love online. I love LinkedIn, I love Facebook and all that great stuff. It's business networking, though, that I used originally to build my reputation, my huge base of clients. And for a lot of clients, I actually teach them business networking so they get clients fast and build really good friendships and referral partners.
So what do you think are the things that you see people doing? Well, let's take it doing right, first of all, in business networking that will actually help do that. What do you need to do to prepare for it?
Oh, I love it. To me, this is what a smart person will do with it, even if they start their business tomorrow, right?
Yep.
But what a smart person will do with business networking is a lot of the basics, right? They've got like a decent LinkedIn page, they've got a Facebook page if they're on Facebook. They've got a good website, they've got good business cards and their sales processes already, so they know what they're doing. And what they'll do is that they'll, let's say they join New South Wales Business Chamber or whatever the case may be.
Yep.
And what they'll do is they'll get in it, they'll take their time, they'll build relationships, they'll make new friends every time, meet people for coffee and lunches, and they'll just gradually build relationships one by one and make themselves more powerful and present.
So how do you recommend that clients, before they attend a New South Wales Chamber event or a local business chamber or a B&I meeting, whatever they're going to, what sort of do you teach them as the important part? Do they need to think about, okay, set an intention, today I'm going to meet X? How do they actually go about doing that?
Well, what I tend to do is I take a very opposite sort of viewpoint.
Okay.
I just tend to throw people in the lion's den and give them a sword and just tell them to go figure it out. That's been the basis of my... Because what I actually found with business networking is the opposite tends to be true, because if you overtrain someone in business networking and then they tend to make it bigger than what it is in their mind, where I'm sort of like the opposite. I'm like, just go along, just listen to people, just make friends, and you'll learn it that way. So I'll use this as an analogy for business networking.
I like it because
I'll ask you this question. What is the best way of getting good at running?
Run.
Yeah. Okay, that's the answer.
It's not going to the sports shop, buying the best running shoes, getting the best socks and the best shirt and the best shorts, and getting the Strava app ready and warming up half an hour. It's getting out there and practicing, right?
Yeah, exactly. And to me, what's really important is, and I'll use Sydney as an example. Sydney's a tough city, right? You know that, Kym. You're a smart guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Sydney is not a place weak of heart, right? And I'm the opposite. I tend to just throw people straight in there, and I'm like, you got to sink or swim, buddy. You got to get with it, right? This is Sydney. It's one of the world's top international cities. You got to perform, and you just can't sit there and, wrap yourself in cotton wool and pretend everything's going to be great. You got to dive in, and you got to win, and you got to take over the place, and you got to get smart very quickly.
Mm. And it's interesting. I think you made the point, make friends. I see a lot of people go too far both ways. I guess they become too over salesy, right? And there's nothing worse, right, at a networking event, or they become so passive you don't really know what they do.
Yeah, and to me, the trick, it's a good point that you make it, and this is, to me, what's very important in business networking. You got to be very direct as to what you do for a living so people get what you're about, right? So, for example, if someone and so you got to have a very direct pitch in terms of, so Ed, what do you do? Yeah, I'm a marketing mentor and coach. What do you do, Kym? Yeah, I'm a marketing strategy, or whatever your pitch is, right?
Yep.
So step one is you got to be direct so people can get what you're all about. And to me, people will either want to talk to you or they don't, right? And let's say someone doesn't like you, they just won't talk to you, they'll just move on. And the idea is just being direct with people, being straight up as to what you do, and what invariably shall happen is people will just talk to you. If they're interested in what you do, they'll talk to you, they'll become friends. And what you do is you meet them for coffee or lunch, you talk to them one-on-one, and that's when you really, really start getting clients and doing all the business deals and that sort of thing.
Yeah, because nothing's going to happen in a 5-minute conversation with 50 other people and someone speaking in the background, right? So.
Oh, absolutely not. But the trick is, though, I suppose the beauty of it all is the idea of, to me, of a networking event. This is exactly the way my mentor trained me, Stefan, which is brilliant, was that Again, you get to know each other, you make friends. And then from there, if things are going to work out, then you go and meet for coffee or lunch, and that's when the actual business is done. Business chamber.
Right. So that second step is, I think, it's a really important step that I think a number of people miss out on. They'll meet someone and maybe even get a business card, and that's it.
Yeah, crazy, which is just dumb. So I'll give you an example, and I'll put some numbers into it just to give it a smart, intelligent, right? So let's say, well, tomorrow night is actually, as we do this podcast, tomorrow night is actually New South Wales Business Chamber, right?
Yep.
And I'll give you an example of a default evening at New South Wales Business Chamber. Forget for the moment that I'm on the team there, right? And let's say I'm just networking just to keep it easy, right?
Yep.
What I'll do is I'll meet about 10 people. We'll swap cards. And what I'll do is I'll let everyone on Facebook. And what I'll do, though, is in the morning is that, let's say I'm at the networking event and people know me and someone turns around, and this is where you got to be smart. Let's say someone walks up to me and says, "Hey, Ed, I'm interested in hiring you. I need some help with my sales and marketing," right?
Yep.
You don't need to have a PhD to know that that's a lead and you should follow that person up.
Right. Yeah.
Right? Like, it's like, "Hi, Ed, I want to hire you and give you money." That's called a lead. Right?
Yeah.
Obviously, I might book a meeting with them on the spot, or I might call them first thing in the morning saying, "Hey, Robert, great seeing you yesterday. Do you want to book in a coffee or lunch?"
Yep.
Or I might just do it on the spot if appropriate, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's what you pretty much do. So I'll give you an example. Here's the way numbers work. Let's say I go to an event and I meet 10 people, right? What will happen is this: 2 people will hate my guts and just not like me, right? They just won't like me and we just won't get along, right? You know what I mean, right?
Yep, absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, they'll look at me and say, "Wow, Ed's Middle Eastern and I'm some kind of racist and I don't like Ed," or whatever, right? That's the way. Yep. So if someone doesn't like me, it means they're a racist. That's the only explanation, right?
He's an anti-marketer. He's one of those horrible anti-marketer people.
Exactly. But out of 10 people, 2 people will hate my guts, which is fine.
Yep.
2 people will just click and we'll just be best of pals instantly, right? And they'll turn into meetings. They'll say, and it could be as direct as, "Hi, Ed, I want to give you money and hire you."
Yeah.
Or, "Hi, Ed, can we just meet up for coffee or lunch and let's just be friends?" Awesome. And it's those 2 people and everyone else in between. It's those 2 people are the ones that I'm preoccupied with.
Yep.
So my attitude is, let's say I meet someone who's a dick to me, right? And they're not very nice or whatever. In a way, I'm not too caught up with them. I actually want them to go away and leave me alone, right? I'm interested in the people I really get along with. That's what I'm really after.
Yeah, because the people who don't are just going to take too much time, attention, and energy, right? You're chasing ghosts, as I call it, trying to get them to do business with you. Yeah.
And you got to be careful because at times you have people, because I suppose in what I do as well is I'm fairly political as well. Like, I'm a member of the Liberal Party, I'm pro-Trump and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So sometimes people will take me on politically, and in a way you got to not take the bait and ignore those people because you're there to do business and mess around.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I can be a nice guy and really fun and friendly, but when I'm pushed, I can be as equally hard-nosed as well, which is very important, especially in a crazy place like Sydney.
Yeah, 100%. So I think the thing I picked up on that you're saying, I just want to explore a little bit more. And you touched on it in the beginning. You said, when you're starting there, make sure you've got a LinkedIn page, a Facebook profile, a website, and something called a sales process. Now, yes, I see that missing in a number of people. So let's explore the sales process a little bit more.
Damn, you are a smart guy, Kym. I've always liked you, and I've always liked you anyway. But there's always been a good reason why I like you. You're a smart guy, Kym. You're a great guy.
Because you talk about that, but that's the beginning of the sales process. They're leads, aren't they? You've been out and spoken to someone. Now, what do you do with them if you don't have a process in place? So, how do you mentor your clients, and even in your own? Let's take your own business for a start. How do you manage the sales process? Do you use a CRM? What do you do to manage your sales process?
Oh, well, great question. So the first thing is like, not just talking networking as an example, right? Just talking networking.
Yep. Yeah, you got to lead through networking, yeah.
Yeah, so let's talk networking just to keep it simple from that viewpoint. So the first thing is obviously, right, in all this, the first thing I'm obviously doing is, so I'm at a business chamber. I'm working out who are the people I'm going to do business with, right? And that can mean many things. That can mean someone who hires me as a client, or it can mean someone who becomes a referral partner, right?
Yep.
It can actually mean a lot of different things, right? Which is really, really cool. Now, what the next step is, and this is what makes it really cool, right, is that I'm being very perceptive as to who are the people that are potentially leads, right?
Yep.
Now, as I work out who those people are leads, I'll then meet them one-on-one. I'll then get to work with them, and I'll do things like this. I'll connect with them on Facebook and LinkedIn. I'll stay connect with the great people. We'll follow them up. And as for my CRM, I use Microsoft 365 as my CRM, and it's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's how I keep my data, keep track of people, set reminders for speaking to people and all that sort of thing. Works out really well.
And I mean, these days, having educational content is really important. What do you do in terms of ongoing content sharing with people? Do you share content with them, or is it more just a connection, keep in touch?
Oh, no. What I tend to do is, I suppose on LinkedIn, Facebook, and through my email database, I also use MailChimp. I send out regular weekly.
Yep.
What I tend to do with content is I do a few 1-minute videos a day on LinkedIn and Facebook. I might do a LinkedIn, Facebook Live once or twice a day.
Yep.
And what I also do as well is I write blogs every day as well. So I'm always putting out lots of information through LinkedIn and Facebook. So what happens is, even if I'm connected to someone on LinkedIn and Facebook, I'm actually putting out information all the time, which is really, really cool. And that's actually how I stay connected with people. And so let's say I just connect with someone on LinkedIn and we never actually meet. What the actual beauty of it is that we'll actually stay connected anyway. They'll see all my content, and that's part of my whole warming and acquisition process.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think LinkedIn can be a very effective tool. But I think the thing I always say to people is, if you think about LinkedIn for business and Facebook for personal, not necessarily just for content, but your LinkedIn address stays with you for life. Your email address changes depending on roles and ISPs, a whole variety of things. So strategically, having a connection with someone on LinkedIn is very important. The same thing with Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
Very rarely does your Facebook, contact change. So those two pieces of contact are fantastic ways to stay in touch with people. But it's interesting you said that. Do you do different content for different channels?
No, except for Facebook Lives. Facebook Lives is obviously Facebook only, right? So with the exception of Facebook Live, I actually share the same content on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. And it actually works really well. It actually works incredibly well. And what I do is, and it's very easy, because I might do, let's say I'm at New South, and I will do this, by the way. Let's say I'm at New South Wales Business Chamber and I take a bunch of selfies tomorrow, right?
Yep.
With people, or I take a quick video. I'll just quickly share it from my phone to Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. And I'll get thousands of views and it'll be great.
And do you do anything with those views? You look at the engagement with those and have a secondary follow-up strategy?
Yeah, what I do is the key thing I go for is I look at people who've either liked my posts or left comments. So let's say I did this before actually. Let's say I do a video on LinkedIn promoting my awesome Marketing Vault mentoring program, right?
Yep.
And let's say someone leaves a comment and says, wow, this is really good, and I don't know them, I'll add that person on LinkedIn, and then I'll send them a message saying hello. So I'll start then speaking to that person directly to warm them up, turn them into a customer or whatever the case may be.
So they go into your sales process.
Exactly.
So instead of randomly posting things on LinkedIn or Facebook or randomly sending out emails, you look at who engages with that content and then moving them further along that sales process or sales funnel.
Exactly, because you think about it, and I don't know you know this, it's a form of pre-qual. So let's say I'm connected to someone on LinkedIn, right? And let's say they just don't like me, right? Because, I don't know, they're racist or whatever, right? They don't like me, right? Awesome. It's like, what might even happen is they might even look at my content and say, wow, this Ed guy's some kind of lunatic.
Yeah.
I don't want to be connected with him. In fact, I'm going to unfriend him, right? And I've had that before. Because I share a lot of content on LinkedIn, and you've probably figured out my strategy. I'm a bit of a polarizing character. No, not at all. Really? No, really? But no, I deliberately polarize, because ultimately this is the way I look at things. If I'm connected to someone on LinkedIn and they don't like me, I actually want them to unfriend me. I actually don't want to be connected to them anymore, if you know what I mean. Right?
Yeah, because you don't want negative comments backwards and forwards and people just having a go at you the whole time.
Yeah, so I remember actually, I used to be such a weakling, because whenever someone would unfriend me on Facebook or LinkedIn, I'd be, oh my God, like, end of the world, what's wrong with me? And I'd go through all this mental stuff, right?
Yeah.
Well, now I'm like, if you hate me, please just unfriend me. I don't even want to talk to you anymore. I've gone the other extreme now, right?
You don't want all that negative energy around it.
Oh, I tell you what, it's been one of the most liberating experiences of my life, because instead of being so like worried about what people think of me, it's like, oh, hi Ed, I hate you. Awesome. Leave me alone. It's just such a it's just such a great feeling when you sort of develop that sense of maturity, right? And I wish I was like this like 10 years ago. It would have saved me a lot of time and stress.
Yeah.
So hired, I hate you. Awesome. Done. Like that. You know what I mean?
I remember once reading a story. I forget who it was. It might have been Stephen Covey when he was around. Oh, not Stephen Covey. I forget who it was now. Anyway, he used to write books, and Wayne Dyer. That's who it was. Wayne Dyer. If you ever, Wayne Dyer.
And for the record, I love Stephen Covey. No one loves Stephen Covey more than I do. He's a great guy.
Oh, he's a fantastic guy. But Wayne Dyer was saying he got this really abusive letter after one of his books, and he wrote back a reply. And the reply went something along the line, it's not exact. I'm sitting in the smallest room of the house. I've just read your letter. I'm about to send it with the eject button. Which I thought was just a wonderful way to reply to
it. Yeah, and that's to me what's very important. And this is Sales 101. This is the sales guy in me speaking, not so much the marketer, right? But to me, what's critical, and I know you as well, you're a very smart guy, Kym, and you know this well, is that a good salesperson does not sell to everyone. A good salesperson cuts through the chaff and focuses on the wheat. That's what a great salesperson does.
And it's easier said than done sometimes, though, isn't it? Because sometimes, I mean, depending on your mood and when you've had a good day or bad day or something's happening personally, it's not always easy to switch off, is it? You sometimes do take it to heart.
And you've got to be thick-skinned, especially in a place like Sydney, because, at times people can be very aggressive with you.
Yeah, very brutal. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many times I sent an email news and said, why are you sending me this rubbish? Well, that's fine, just don't read it. I mean, it's something.
It depends on your style.
Subscribe, please, press the button.
It depends on your style too as well, because, for example, I'm a Christian and I'm quite active in the church, and I'm also a Trump supporter, right? And I'm a member of a Liberal Party. So what happens to me is I get a lot of people who don't even – you don't get this at the chamber, for example, because at the chambers everyone's a bunch of right-wingers, right? But what will happen, this happens to me anymore because I sort of ferreted these, this trash out of my life. But what used to happen to me quite a lot, Kym, is that I get people who like – they don't even know me, but they'll just make judgments of me, and then they'll just treat me like, just be dicks to me or something like that, right?
Yeah, and I've heard that comment made about other people as well. I mean, the Christian thing. They say, well, who cares? That's his personal beliefs. I mean, it's business, guys.
Yeah. But it's more the lefties that do it. So people on the right, people on the right in business are really cool, but I just have a lot of problem with lefties always trashing me and what I believe and that sort of thing. And eventually I got all these people out of my life, and it's just been awesome. And then I thought I'd go the next mile and think, I might go join the Liberal Party now and actually fight these people. It was awesome. So it's sort of like, the wrath of Edward. It's like, well, I'm going to use my political might against you guys now. It was awesome.
That's a really interesting point you make, because I see a lot of people on social media particularly railing against the cause and jumping on a bandwagon about something or other. I think, though, that scares a lot of businesses off. They're worried about it. People do that. I mean, I think that's going to happen as a matter of course, isn't it? When you're on social media and being public or publishing a blog or out there, you're going to get people to criticise you. As you say, you need to have a thick skin. So don't hide behind, I don't want to get on Facebook or I don't want to get on LinkedIn in case someone criticises me and I look bad. It's going to happen.
Yeah. And what it's interesting actually was when you talk like, the lefties, like the social justice warriors and all the people, the cultural Marxists and all those people that, they're just trying, they're all into political correctness and all that horrible stuff, right? The real authoritarians, right?
Yeah.
With those sort of people as well there's actually a saying in business, and it's called get woke, go broke. Have you heard that one?
No, I haven't. So was it get woke?
Get woke, go broke.
No, tell me.
It's fascinating. I've been studying this a lot lately, and this really came out during especially the Trump campaign, right? And basically the culture wars in the US. But what get broke, go woke means, and this is very relevant to marketing and business, get woke, go broke roughly means this. It's basically whenever companies, and this happened to Disney big time, right? Happened to Disney as an example, especially the Star Wars films. But what happens is that when companies sort of kowtow to like the social justice warriors and the crazy lefties, what happens is that they end up losing a lot of customers, right? The whole political correctness type of movement.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, okay.
Have you, like, for example...
The vocal minority, basically, I guess.
Yeah, a good example is, the latest Ghostbusters film, right? Did you ever see that?
No, I haven't seen the latest one. I saw the original, but not the latest one.
The latest Ghostbusters film was a flop. They lost like $100 million or something like that.
Right.
And it was actually a very racist and sexist film, right?
Right.
But it was all based in lefty political correctness. And the film, everyone hated it. And the studio, and I think it was Paramount lost a lot of, I think it was Sony actually lost a lot of money, right?
Right.
Now, the simple, and that's an example of get woke, go broke. So the point is that whenever companies curtail to like the lefties and people that don't like them, they end up ignoring their fans for losing a lot of money. So again, anyone who's ever bent the knee to political correctness, they always get punished very badly.
And I guess that comes back to what I think you agree with me as well. It comes back to who is your target audience, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So if your target audience is lefties, well, you've got to cater to them. If they're not, why are you catering to them?
Yeah, and that's actually a case in point talking politics. And I see a lot of internal poll reports that the public don't see as being in the party, right?
Yeah.
But I'll tell you now, a good example is I'll compare, Liberal, like as an Australian, not like right wing versus Labor.
Yep.
If you talk Labor, for example, right, in Liberal, if you look at the Liberal voting base, everyone sort of gets along. So in the Liberal Party in Australia, you might get someone who's like a working class guy. You might get someone who's Asian, Indian, someone who's gay, someone who's a Christian. Everyone sort of the voting base in Liberal all get along, right?
Yep.
But in Labor, it's not like that. You have like this lefty, progressive, social justice warrior fringe. And then you have, on one sense, and then on the other side, you then have the sort of normal people. And what happens in the Labor Party, and where they're in a lot of trouble right now, is everyone's not getting along, right? Their own voting bases are getting along. So when Bill Shorten sort of bends a knee to the radical left, he ends up alienating a lot of his base. So the problem with Labor is that they're actually confused on their target market, hence why they're having political trouble. And the reason why I bring up politics is that I always look at politics as a means of understanding business. They really relate and happen. You can see you got to know exactly who your target market is, who you're after, and then you just go after those people, and it's awesome. I couldn't think of anything better than that.
And I guess that brings up a really good point. If I take the lesson out of that, if you want to call it that for business, is that the temptation is to try and be all things to all people,
Yes.
right? And I think that's and as you say, cater to a minority who are not your core customers. What are you worried about? I mean, just unfriend them, block them on Facebook or whatever you need to do to get rid of them, because they're not your core target, and be hard-nosed about that. It's a bit like LinkedIn. I'm not sure about you, but I probably made the mistake on LinkedIn of connecting with everyone who moves. And now I'm sort of really looking at that much more critically and saying, do I really want to be connected with that person?
Exactly. And to me, that's really important. The trick is, and this is what's really, really awesome, the trick is knowing exactly who you're after and just going after those people. So in terms of business networking, is if I'm talking to someone at a business networking event, whether they're a potential client or not, if we're getting along great, I'll talk to them, all right? We could become friends or whatever, right? But let's say I'm talking to someone who's not going well, I'll diplomatically get out of the conversation as quickly as possible.
Yep.
And it's a great...
Can I ask you a question then? How do you get out of a conversation as diplomatic as possible? I struggle with this. So tell me how you go about doing that.
Everyone does, and it's absolutely awesome that you struggle with it. Everyone struggles with it, even I did at the start. What I do is I'll use my favourite technique. It's called stonewalling, right? You know what stonewalling is?
Not saying anything? No, explain stonewalling to me. Hello?
That's stonewalling.
I thought the sound had gone. Very good demonstration. I love it. A live demonstration.
Yes, it's stonewalling. When you stonewall someone, which is just funny, right? Stonewalling is basically you just go quiet and you just let the conversation just die, right?
And there's nothing like that awkward silence, right?
Yeah, I just sit there and shut the hell up. And then eventually they go, well, Ed, it was great talking to you. And I'm like, awesome, talk to you later, bye. Or you might be...
I love it. Absolutely love it.
Yeah. It depends what the reason is. Let's say someone's been mean to me, right? And I'm not happy with them, right? I suppose it depends. Let's say someone's actually really nice and they're cool, but I just need to move on. I'll say, and let's say they're really cool, but I need to stop. I need to move on, right? Even though I think they're cool, right?
Yeah.
I'll say, let's say I'm talking to you, right? And it's like, I think you're a great guy, but then there's a client over the corner. It's like, hey, Kym. I might say, hey, Kym, great talking to you. I need to, like, for example, I know you, we're friends, right? I'll just say to you, hey, Kym, Great talking to you. I need to move on and talk to such and such. You go, sure, Ed. Awesome. Right. But let's say I don't know someone. I'll say, hey, thanks for talking. Really appreciate it. I need to keep moving, so I'll talk to you later. Fine. No one cares.
Because you're at a networking event, right? So it's almost about being embarrassed about it, isn't it? And I think that's the problem. You need to just take that personal feeling away from it if you want.
Yeah, and the blade cuts both ways too. So let's say someone stonewalls me.
Yeah.
Let's say, hey, I'm going to keep moving. And this I'm actually had an interesting. Didn't go well for this person because, messing with me is usually not a good idea, right? It usually doesn't go very well. Right? I've been messed with by everyone. No one has been messed with as much as me, right? So I'm a hardened nut job these days, right?
So you've seen them all. You've seen them all.
After all the crap I've been through in my life, I've got a very short tolerance. So when people mess with me, they don't do that well. It doesn't go well for them, right? For example, I was once at a networking event. It was actually, I think it was a Parramatta Chamber or something. Anyway, and what happened was the person wasn't being very nice to me. And then I sort of wound up the conversation and they got really offended and went off their head at me, right?
Oh.
It was like at a chamber event. And I said, look, buddy, you need to chill out. It's not that bad, right? I basically said something like that, right? Right? Because they're just being mean to me, right?
Yeah.
But, to me, it's sort of like, and the opposite is true too. So when I'm talking to someone, right, I'm also being mindful of whether I'm wasting their time or not. Because if I'm talking to someone and I'm wasting their time, I actually don't want to talk to them because I respect they're there to make money too. You know what I mean? So the blade cuts both ways. That's just one of the big points I want to make.
That's a really good point. So if you see someone looking around the room trying to find someone better, you're probably just best to bail out of that situation.
Yeah, so let's say I'm talking to someone and I can tell they don't want to talk to him anymore, right?
Yep.
Awesome. Awesome. I'll be, hey, man, good talking to you. And I'll be, thanks, Ed. I'll talk to you later. Done. That's it.
So break up with before they break up with you.
Exactly. And I think and also is what you've got to be mindful of as well, because again, this is the point that I make and I say this to everyone. Like, and this just drives me insane. People go to networking events and they just talk to their friends all night. It's just ridiculous. Like, just go home. You're just dumb, right?
Or call them on the phone. Don't pay the $40 or whatever it costs to go. Just meet up with your mate for a coffee or a beer.
Yeah, so that all frustrates me. Is what I do is, and I say this to my clients all the time. They always, I love my clients, but sometimes they drive me insane. They only drive me insane because my love for them drives me insane, right? Whereas I'll invite clients, and then they'll start hanging out with each other. I'm like, what the hell are you guys doing? Like, go network, go talk to someone. Don't do that.
Go meet people.
Yeah, like you want more clients, and now you're not talking to, and you got to, you don't go to a chamber event and hang out with your friends. It's just daft. Right. But I get why people are doing it. Nervous. It's a survival mechanism. I got all that, but it's just very bad behavior you got to stay out of.
It's just something I think you need to be mindful of. So when you're sitting down with clients and they're telling you about their networking experience, tell me what sort of questions do you ask them? How do you help them get better at networking, I guess, is what I'm after. So what do you say to them? What questions do you get to self-evaluate how they went afterwards? What do you do in that area?
Oh, how we value networking? Well, first, let's say a client goes to the chamber and I speak to them the next day and go, how'd you go to the chamber event? Yeah. It's like, great. My questions will be like, how many people did you meet? How many meetings did you get? Have you rung up everyone? Have you added them on LinkedIn? They're the basic questions I'll ask.
Right. So they're the questions people should ask after everything, whether they got you as a mentor or not. So how many people did you meet? What was the second one?
Yeah, how many people did you meet? How many meetings did you get?
Yep.
How many good?
And have you connected with them on LinkedIn and have you followed them up?
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, right, what's important with business networking is getting meetings. That's critical. You have to get meetings, right? You must get meetings. That's what it's all about.
That's a really good point. So I think a lot of people, not just for networking, I see it with, I've got a website inquiry. It doesn't mean it's a sale. What is the logical next step in the sales process? We come back to again, right? So the logical next step is, you meet with them and you assess if it's a good fit for both of you, right? It's not just, are they a good fit for you? Are you a good fit for them?
Exactly. Like, how many meetings did you get? But the way I tend to look at it, though, and I've actually changed a lot in this view. Like, I've actually really gone more liberal in this view. I used to be a bit too. I've actually softened up in some senses. I've hardened up. In some senses, I've actually softened up. So I used to be very much, well, are they a potential client? Is this a good meeting? Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Well, now I'm not like that at all. Now I'm more like the sort of guy where it's sort of like, if I meet someone cool, even if they're not going to be a potential client, I'll meet up with them anyway, because you got to think. So let's say I meet someone at an event who is just really cool, right?
Yep.
And there's no way they're going to be a potential client. I'll still meet them for coffee or lunch anyway, because they're a new friend. We might be able to refer work to each other. And they're just a cool person. I just want to get to know. It's called. So when I go to networking events, I'm also connecting with influencers as well as potential customers. So a friend who's well connected, they can refer you lots of work, and vice versa as well. It's great.
Absolutely. Or something new that you learn, or whatever it might be. I just love meeting people and getting out there and learning more about what's happening. And sometimes we get caught in our own little ivory towers sometimes as well.
Exactly. So, there's heaps of different ways of playing it. But the thing that I love totally, and this is what totally works for me, is that, go out there, meet lots of people, meet the right people, but get meetings. So what I do is I always say to people, you want to get at least one meeting per networking event. If you do that, you're going to do really well.
Yep. And I guess it depends on how do you find the right event? You go to events, right? How do you run your practice? So
I'll make it easy for people. Just go to New South Wales Business Chamber. Right.
Well, that's true. They've got everyone. How many people do they have at that event? So if you're in Sydney, how many people do they get at their events?
Oh, that's a great question. So a bit of trivia there with the chamber. The New South Wales Chamber is actually the biggest chamber in Australia.
Yep.
They've got over 22,000 members. Tell me a place that's bigger. Tell me the place that's got more members, right? The biggest business chamber in Australia, which makes sense. It's the biggest state in Australia, so you kind of expect that, right? Of course it would be. And also, too, what's really cool about New South Wales Business Chamber is that their events, you get about 400 people per event.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're all great people. Like New South Wales, and what I say to people is, like, for example, even in Wyong, right, even in like awesome regional towns, you always have business chambers. So what I say to people is the first place to go is your local business chamber. Just start there.
Yep. Because you're going to have a diverse group of people there, right? So it gives you a chance to speak to a whole lot of different people who are both influencers and referrers possibly, but also potential clients.
Exactly.
See, I often hear people say, "Oh, look, I don't like going to networking events. It's full of people who there's no real business there." But they want to make a sale on the spot. It doesn't work that way.
I use what's called. Do you know what a reversal argument is?
No,
right?
No. Talk about the reversal argument.
It's actually a negotiating tactic, right? Have you ever studied professional negotiation? Have you ever studied professional negotiating?
I did it as part of a course, but I've probably forgotten most of it, to be honest with you.
You're pretty good. You probably know the same thing, but what a reversal tactic is that I'll use this as an example. Richard Branson this is how I justify business networking as a reversal tactic.
Yep.
Richard Branson has written blogs on this. Google it. It's all online. Richard Branson recommends that entrepreneurs should join the local business chamber, right?
Yep.
So if you disagree with me, you actually know more than Richard Branson. So you know where I'm going, right? Yeah. So let's say I say to someone, so I know Richard Branson recommends the business chambers. He does. It's in writing. I could show you the article. Just Google it. It's there, right?
Yep.
So let's say I say to someone, you should go to business networking. Oh, no, Ed, business networking's dumb. Okay, cool. So Richard Branson's a moron and you're just way smarter, yeah? Get my argument? See the way I'm arguing that point?
Absolutely. It's not you arguing with them. You're saying to me you're smarter than Richard Branson. So there's a logical answer to that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like, oh, well, Richard Branson's a dumbass and you're just awesome because he thinks he's a billionaire and he thinks business network, and he's a billionaire and he says join your local business chamber, okay? So if you're going to disagree with that, you're disagreeing with Richard Branson. That's not an easy place to argue.
Edward, I knew this was going to be a fantastic conversation. We covered a hell of a lot of ground here from, get woke, go broke, right through to Richard Branson, through to politics, to the basics of LinkedIn page, Facebook page, website, sales process, networking. I knew it would be a fantastic conversation. It certainly has been.
Crazy lefties. You can't forget about social justice warriors and crazy lefties. They always come up.
I don't know there's too many of them who are podcast listeners. If they are, That's fine. I have no problem with that.
Oh, I'll be damned if SJW is listening to your podcast. That'll be awesome. Tell them no hard feelings.
I'm sure their heart is in the right place. So if people want to connect with you, Edward, find out more about what you do, what's the best way to do that?
Thanks, Kym. You're awesome. Please, anyone, feel free to add me on Facebook and LinkedIn. Love to connect. If you just Google my name, you'll see my website. But absolutely love to connect. And while I've got people here as well, if anyone listening, if you need help with your marketing strategy and thinking, I mean, how long have we known each other? We've known each other for years.
I don't know. I can't remember back when, Edward, to be honest.
Yeah, but I would say, for the sake of viewers, Kym is a great guy. He's a great guy. You can trust everything he says. So if you aren't working with Kym, please hire him. If you are working with Kym, please keep listening to him.
And if you don't hire Kym, go and see Edward. There you go.
You're definitely a nicer guy, broader appeal. I'm much more of an acquired taste.
So
please do that.
All political persuasions gratefully accepted. So, Edward, wonderful speaking to you, and that's Edward Zia, Z-I-A, for those people who don't know how to spell Zia. It's not that hard to spell. It's a very short name, unlike Heffernan. So thanks, Edward, for your time. Look, you've got such wonderful insights, and you work with so many people, and it's just wonderful to discuss it with you. Rather than have that structure, I think just to give people a whole lot of ideas to take on board and think about, and just how to get offline as well as online, because online, as you say, is fantastic, but you need to connect with people in business to business especially, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. And the thing is, and this is what a lot of people don't like talking about, but I'll talk about. And by the way, I love online. I'm a heavy LinkedIn, Facebook guy, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
And I'm not some anti-internet weirdo. Of course I'm not, right? But here's the point. And I asked this question, what is the fastest way to build a relationship with someone? What's the fastest way?
To meet them, to spend time with them.
Yep, that's it. There's your answer. So I'll give you an example. Trump holds rallies, doesn't he? Face-to-face rallies.
Yeah, because they get to see him, meet him, and see him in person.
Yes, I can't remember. I think Trump's got, 10 million followers on Twitter, but he still holds face-to-face rallies.
Yep. So they've got 10 million followers. Why do you need hold face-to-face? They'll come to you, won't they?
Yeah, exactly. And that's to me the point is that a good, and you know this is without sounding like Kym Heffernan, right? A good marketing strategy has multiple tiers to it, right? So, for example, you have your online, you have your offline, you have you have your online world, you have your real world, you have a range of different strategies that work. So, for example, I'm really big in New South Wales Business Chamber. I'm also really big on LinkedIn. They're two different channels, and supporting each of them helps me become more successful.
And that's a really important, really a great point to finish on. If you rely very heavily on one strategy to get and connect with customers, what happens when that strategy disappears overnight?
Yeah, you
change it.
And a good example is, and you actually said it before when we were talking in the prelude to our podcast, but it's like Facebook, for example. Facebook,
oh yeah, it's changed.
It's really gone to the dogs, right? And I'm not the only one saying that, right? Especially with how they're trying to screw everyone for more advertising by cutting back organic reach, right?
Yep.
They've made a lot of enemies, and it has not been good. Now, what's interesting, though, where LinkedIn's done the opposite, which is why they're kicking butt. But where the whole, I suppose, key point is there, Awesome Kym, is that a lot of people who are relying on Facebook got totally slapped, whereas I never got slapped because I was writing a Facebook and LinkedIn, and I was writing a LinkedIn and Real World, and I run events and Meetup and all this other stuff. So, yeah, again, it's completely the way it goes.
Yeah, it's just risk diversification, which is probably not a marketing thing, but it's a business thing. You don't want one client giving you all your business. You don't want one channel giving you all your clients. Mate, it's been absolutely fantastic speaking to you, Edward. I really do appreciate your time. And please, people, take the time to connect with Edward. Look at his content, some fantastic content out there and some fantastic ideas on today's podcast. We'll put all the notes, as usual, in the show notes and all the links so you connect with Edward. Thanks again, mate. Appreciate your time.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of Marketing Show. We hope you got some practical, effective tips and ideas so your organization gets more prospects and nurtures those prospects to becoming long-term customers. Just a reminder, the show is sponsored by the Marketing Strategy Company, who help B2B organizations develop winning marketing strategies and sales and marketing automation systems to turn their sales and marketing efforts into new customers and dollars through their marketing. Check out the show notes for this episode and the Marketing Strategy Company's planning and marketing services at themarketingstrategy.co. That's marketingstrategy.co. Until next time, happy marketing.